So this may end up being unpopular, or maybe people will really click with this and resonate with it. I really don't know how other people feel, but I know how I feel, and I know how I perceive things, and I know what I've seen firsthand. And so I'm going to talk about my observations, my experiences, and I'm going to share that because I assume that there are other people out there going through this or that have gone through this, and this video is for them. Yeah. So there's a documentary called The Weight of Gold, and if you guys watch this thing, you know, these Olympic athletes all suffer from depression after the games are over, right? So they spend their whole lives preparing for this one, moment, this opportunity. They're going to go win a gold medal at the Olympics, and then when it's all over, they're sad and they're depressed and they don't know what to do with themselves. Okay. All right. What about the people who did all the same amount of work as you and didn't win a medal? Like, do you think the guy who took fourth place doesn't feel like shit? Do you think the guy who didn't make it to the Olympics, but he put all the work in, he spent, from the age of 3 to the age of, 20, training, giving up all the same sacrifices, all the same things that you did, and then he doesn't even qualify for the Olympics? How do you think that guy feels that, at the age of 3 he started playing hockey, and, he goes all the way up, and maybe he decides to play in the OHL, or he goes and plays, D1 NCAA, and then the draft comes and he doesn't get drafted. He made all the same sacrifices, he did the same amount of work as the guys who did get drafted, but then he doesn't get drafted. Or the NFL. This guy worked his ass off, and he trained for the combine and everything, and he doesn't get drafted. Some guy or some girl, starting at the age of, 3 or 5 years old, somewhere in that range, dedicates every living second of their life to a sport. Little boys and little girls have these dreams, and you get there and you don't even get a chance to go to the Olympics. You don't win a gold medal. How do you think that feels? How about this? How about your dream from the age of 5 was to become a Navy SEAL, and you spend your entire life pursuing it, and you make multiple attempts at it even, and then by the age of 29, you have failed. You tried, but you failed repeatedly, and they tell you, whoop, you're 29 now, too late, because there's a 28 cutoff. So despite your repeated attempts, you failed every single time, and now you've dedicated 24 years of your life to this goal, and you have nothing to show for it. How do you think that feels? I bet that feels worse than walking around with the gold medal around your neck. Maybe. Maybe a little bit. What more can I say? I feel like I'd stop the video right there. But that's the reality that more people are going to deal with, actually. Most of us don't have a gold medal. Most of us can't relate. Most of us can't sit there and be like, yeah, I won a gold medal, but now I don't know what to do with my life. Really? Michael Phelps, you've got millions of dollars. What about the guy who made all the same sacrifices as you? Went through all the same things, dealt with all the same stress, but doesn't have a gold medal and doesn't have millions of dollars. This isn't a knock on Michael Phelps, it just happened to be that he's in the film. That's the only reason why I brought him up. If you guys watch the film, you'll understand why I said Michael Phelps. It's not like I'm attacking him. I'm not attacking him. What I am pointing out, though, and this is not a criticism of any of the athletes that are in the film. I'm not criticizing them. I understand. I do. I've seen guys that had an NFL career and retired, and they're like, I don't know what I'm going to do now. I've known guys who had a Major League Baseball career and got injured, and their career ended unexpectedly. They don't know what they're going to do now. But what I am putting out to you is that this is what gets attention, because these are the superstars. It's really easy to be like, oh, Simone Biles and Sasha Cohen and Michael Phelps and Lolo Jones. We already know who you are. What about all the faceless people that you've never even heard their name? What do you think they go through? So I think that there's something to be said there. And I will say that I see this in the military as well. That's probably where I see it more than anything else. I've had so many friends of mine, friends that I made at OCS and stuff like that. You put your whole life into this career, and then it's over. Now what? And sometimes it's not over because you wanted it to be over. I mean, I have friends that lost their legs. Guess what? Your career's over. IED blew your legs off. Now you're a double amputee. You're not going to be doing what you used to do. I have a friend who got hit by an RPG, blew his whole leg off from the hip down. Yeah, you're not going back. You're not going to continue that career. You have a completely different life now. You can't even go back to your old life. You can't go back to your pre-military life. I have a friend who lost both hands. He was a EOD tech. It doesn't have hands. What's he going to do? Go back to what? You don't get to go back to your old life. You don't get to go back to your pre-military life. You can't go back into the military. You can't continue being an EOD tech either. These transitions, they're very hard. It's something I've talked about. I was in a very serious accident, which basically brought my life to a halt. And during that time, I was given really bad news by doctors. Doctors told me all kinds of terrible stuff, like, oh, you're never going to walk again, or you're never going to do this again, or you'll never do that again, or which I'll give you guys something inspirational. A good friend of mine, this actually is an inspirational thing. A good friend of mine, when I was going through it, said to me, heed the diagnosis. Doctors are very good at the diagnosis, he says, but ignore the prognosis. No one can tell you, what you can and can't do, or how much you can recover. So he said, what you're going to do is you're going to go to physical therapy. You're going to do everything you possibly can. He says, if they tell you that you can't do something, or that you'll never do something ever again, ignore it. Ignore the prognosis. Work. And you will find out that you can usually accomplish far more than the doctors predict. And I have to say that it's been something I've witnessed in other people. I've known a number of people who are told things like, you're never going to walk again. And sure enough, they're lifting weights and running, and they're doing a lot more than just walking. But surely if you had accepted that prognosis, then you probably would have just given up. You wouldn't have made the effort, and so you wouldn't be walking again. So you do have to ignore the prognosis. That's a little side tangent there, but I'm sure you can understand it. The thing is I was in this accident. I got hit by a drunk driver. It completely destroyed my life in every way, shape, and form. And you start asking this question. It's like, who am I if I'm not who I used to be? Because you can't be the person that you used to be anymore. You're never going to be that person ever again. That person doesn't even exist. It's almost like a death. You were this person, then you were in this extreme accident, and that life that you once knew, that person that you once were, that's gone. You don't get to have that life anymore. You're not that person anymore. You can't become that person again. You can't go backwards. So who am I if I'm not who I used to be? Who am I if I'm not who I've always been, right? So it's kind of like these things become our identity. You're whatever, you can choose. Like, it doesn't have to be sport even, like I'm Joe the NFL quarterback. Now who am I if I'm not an NFL quarterback? It could be something like, I'm Bob the Marine, or I'm, you know, Jake the Navy SEAL, and now you're not. So who are you now? It's a transition. I think that there needs to be more, I'm speaking specifically to the military at this point, there needs to be more resources for people to make that transition from military to civilian. That does not exist, and that is tragic. Yes, I know they have it. No, but they do have something for them. No, it is. I'm going to stop myself from swearing. How weird is that? Normally I just drop F-bombs left and right. It is wholly inadequate. Okay? It is entirely trash. It is so inadequate, it is not enough. It is not helping people. Alright? And I would tell you the same thing is true for athletes. Now, don't get me wrong, I've known some athletes who are really smart. I happen to know a major league pitcher who was really smart. And I remember one day I'm working with him, we're training, and he was recovering from an injury. And if I say what his injury is, it might give away who he is, so we'll leave that part out. I'm working with this guy, and I said, what are you planning on doing after your baseball career is over? And he's like, I already got that in place. And I was like, really? I was like, what are you going to do? He's like, I've been buying car dealerships. He's like, ever since my rookie season, I've just been buying up car dealerships. I own a whole bunch of them now. And I was like, oh? He's like, yeah, I'm really into sports cars and stuff, so I just figured, whenever my career's over and I'm done playing baseball, I'm going to own car dealerships. I was like, that's brilliant. Like, he already has this transition in place. But a lot of people don't. Like, a lot of people don't have a transition in place. They don't have something to move on to. I don't have a solution for you. I don't. I'm really sorry that I don't. But what I am going to say, okay, is this is going to sound stupid and it's overly, I don't know. Why do we lift weights? To get stronger, right? You lift weights to get stronger and become more resilient. So, I don't want to act like it's the same in life. It's not like, why do we struggle so we can get stronger? But what I will say, okay, is I will say that these challenges are going to come your way. And if you fight through them, you will become more resilient. So this is not an everything happens for a reason bullshit thing. We're like, why do we suffer? So that we get stronger. This is me telling you, this is going to suck. There is no why. There's not a good reason for it. Okay? It's not an everything happens for a reason thing. But what I am going to say is that when really bad shit happens, or you find yourself in one of these situations, if you can muster up I don't even know if it's willpower or discipline or courage or strength, whatever word you want to use for it, if you can fight your way through it, you'll find that you're more resilient on the other side. Now, I'll get into my personal take on this, only because if I'm going to share this, I might as well tell you that, whatever. For me, what I realized is I just need to basically find some way to continue to help people. The whole reason I wanted to become a Navy SEAL is because I read a book years ago and I thought hostage rescue was the greatest thing in the entire world. I thought, what could you do with your life that would be more valuable than saving other people? That's why I got interested in rescue work. That's why I got interested in search and rescue. That's why I got interested in hostage rescue. I thought to myself, what better thing can you do with your life than to go save people? Well, so that's my take, though. You don't have to have the same value. Maybe you think to yourself that the most valuable thing you can do in your life is to invent things for other people. And that's fine, too. But for me, it was, helping other people. And so now my transition, my goal, my purpose, whatever, is just trying to help other people any way that I can. And I know people will tell you stupid shit. Don't listen to all the business people out there. They're full of shit. Every single one of them has rich parents and stuff. Just check it out for a second. I don't care who you're looking at. If you look at people like Bill Gates and Jeff Bezos, they had rich parents. Okay? Most of these people giving out business advice on the internet even. Oh, how to start your multi-million-dollar business or whatever. check them out. They had really rich parents. Okay? They didn't start out in a trailer park. So, point being, all right, they'll tell you stupid business advice like, well, if you just provide value, the money will come to you. That does not how it works. That's not how it works at all. And people don't buy things of value. People buy things of perceived value. Okay? They perceive it to have value, therefore they spend money on it. Whether or not you actually provide real value actually doesn't matter. People buy shit all the time that has no value. People buy all kinds of stuff. They buy it because they think it has value, not because it actually has value. You could be someone who's fantastic and you are providing things of value, and nobody gives a shit because they don't perceive it to have value. So whether or not it has value is irrelevant. It's whether or not people perceive it. And that's why marketing will always win. You know, the guy who's marketing the, get fit in 90 days or 30 days or whatever shit thing it is, that guy is always going to get more money than the guy who's providing actual value. It's just the way it is. Marketing wins. Okay? That's why good coaches usually are broke, because they are good at coaching, not good at marketing. And people who are great at marketing are very, very successful, even though they have no clue what they're doing. And they're giving people terrible advice. So, anyways, if you were going through this, my recommendation to you is, for your transition, to figure out what's really important to you. Figure out something that makes you value yourself. What value do you find? What purpose do you find? What lights you up? What do you love to do? And transition into that. So, for me, it was I wanted to do things like hostage rescue and stuff like that because I felt it was important to help other people. So you can see that really my actual value is helping other people. So then you have to find something that allows you to continue to help other people. That's the way you want to look at it. You have to figure out what was your reason for the thing that you used to do. And if the reason that you were doing it was to, I want to entertain people, then you need to find something new that also fulfills the need to entertain people. It's that simple. If you guys like the video, like the video. If you guys have experienced yourself, comment below. If you have a solution to this, comment below. It'll help other people. And, be sure to subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of discussion. I feel like maybe this is something that people should be talking about. You're not going to see this in a lot of the fitness and, strength and conditioning area. We don't talk about this, and this is something that definitely needs to be talked about. Are you helping your athletes prepare for the life that they're going to have after their career? I think that's a really important thing, especially if you actually care about your athletes. So, thanks so much for your time, and I hope this helps even just one person.